President Donald Trump turned what could have been an awkward technical glitch into a moment of laughter at the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday when he opened his address by acknowledging that his teleprompter was malfunctioning.
Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making the speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much. And by the way, it's working now. It just went on. Thank you. I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much.
Being ruined. I mean, we also had that escalator issue at the UN where, the escalator had stopped when President Trump and his wife Melania arrived for that meeting. A lot of issues to discuss here, Rufai. The UN speech by President Donald Trump, like I said, he went off script and, he literally attacked the UN during that whole address. It's gone viral. I was begging, don't read from me. Well, unfortunately, he read from the heart. Yeah. Because, a UN official reportedly later said it was the White House's responsibility to operate the president's teleprompter. But the White House pushed back, with one of their officials stating that it was the UN's equipment. Well, the president's speech later went off script as Trump questioned the UN's ability to solve problems much bigger than a malfunctioning audiovisual equipment. He then launched into a wide-ranging attack on global policies, calling climate change a con job, and accusing the UN of funding an assault on Western countries through migration. He also criticized the UN's perceived ineffectiveness, stating its primary action was writing strongly worded but hollow letters. Strongly worded but hollow letters. Let's take a look.
It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the #1 political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined.
I'm not surprised. I mean, we predicted his speech before he started.
Yes.
Look at the man talking as if he was even going to use the teleprompter anyway. He spoke from his mind. He said a lot of rubbish. He said a lot of lies. He said a lot of porcupines. I mean, I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
He called climate change con job, which we all know climate change is not con job. It's affecting all of our life. Look at the increased rainfall.
Look at yesterday.
He's calling, he's saying foreign aliens, go against foreign aliens and migrants in your country. He was going against Brazil, saying Brazil is suffering. Brazil is not suffering. In fact, Brazil has created a buffer to be able to fight Trump tariffs. He is talking about immigrants. He himself is an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant. I and I was just talking off the air that most of the American billionaires that made America, the hands that built America, the likes of Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, and all of that during the Gilded Age, because America came of age during the Gilded Age, all the hands that built America, guess what, Oji? They were not originally Americans. They were all immigrants. In fact, any Caucasian you see in America is not originally Native American. The people that really originally own the land are the Lenape peoples. The Red Indians, like the European call them, or the Native American people, the Geronimos of this world. They are not original. So Caucasians were not originally instituted in America. They started coming there in the 1600s when the Dutch settlers came, when they set up New Amsterdam, what became New York, you know, and you have the likes of what's it called, the Pilgrims, when they came and brought the ship to America. So Caucasians too came to meet some people on this same land they call America. So when they push their right-wing Christian nationalism thing, it doesn't surprise me. This morning I was reading Mein Kampf. The same narrative Hitler too was pushing then against the Jewish people is happening all over again. Then he told a lot of other lies and great things. But I think my consolation this morning, before you take the story, is my friend's daughter, Alhaji Bukar Abba's daughter, you know, that gave a riveting poetry rendition there. And it's just a wonderful one, what she said about the cause of the world. And I'm so proud because Alhaji Bukar Abba is my very good friend.
Oh, he's your friend?
Yes.
Let me just take it.
No, to the Trump story. You know, I already commented at length on the Trump story when Adefemi Akinsanya brought it up. Just to add that, okay, elevator failed, teleprompter failed, and now the White House is saying, oh, if this was intentional, heads must roll. The people must be investigated as that. Trump should count himself lucky. In some other countries, which were, I would politely refuse to name, there could have been a power blackout.
That's not off your mind.
There would have been power blackout.
Just one country.
No, I've not mentioned any country. But there could have been power blackout, and America would have been thoroughly embarrassed.
Yes. But you know, the UN is coming. House officials also are saying that it's not their fault. Well, still at the UN, Nigerian poet and spoken word artist Mariam Boko Hassan delivered a powerful speech that captivated delegates with her call for global peace. Hassan's passionate speech resonated throughout the Assembly Hall as she used her platform to advocate for unity and reconciliation in a world marked by ongoing conflicts and tensions.
Walking these halls, I realized that the United Nations was not built from harmony. It grew out of the ashes of war and the grief watered by the collective memory of what happens when dialogue and cooperation fails. Its foundation is not peace achieved, but peace pursued, fragile, imperfect, necessary, not just worth fighting for, but requiring a fight. And today, 80 years on, we gather to honor what has been achieved. Nations rebuilt, walls of division lowered, millions lifted by the shared will. But these are victories worth remembering, but the story is unfinished. The cracks in the foundation calls us to repair, to act, not to retreat. Our world bleeds before our eyes. Children in conflict zones, nations silenced by hunger and war. And it begs the question, are we witnessing the collapse of conscience in real time? Because behind every pact, there are people. Behind every statistic, there is a story. And behind every commitment that we sign, there are lives depending on whether we honor our words or not. And so this is not the time to feel powerless, because yes, hope and despair can coexist in the same breath because healing is not linear. The United Nations is not a monument, it is a mirror. And it reflects what we have dared to imagine 80 years ago. And today, here, it asks, will we dare again? Will we dare to work better together? Because if the past proves that we can build peace from ashes, then the present demands that we build it again, louder, braver, together. I speak as a global peace advocate, not because peace is easy, but because silence is complicity, and so I will not be silent. You know, I used to think that peace was a place, a final destination we arrive at after all wars have ended. But I have come to understand that peace is not a line that we cross. It is a choice that we make over and over and over again, especially when it is the hardest, especially when it feels far away. Peace is not a silence we force into people's mouths. It is not the absence of war, but the presence of understanding. Peace is a child learning to sleep again without flinching at the wind. It is a mother not having to choose between bread and dignity. It is a father not having to swallow his voice to feel like a man. Peace is messy, like forgiveness. It does not arrive in parade floats. Sometimes it comes crawling through broken windows when we finally agree that being right is not better than being whole. Peace is not found, it is built, brick by brutal brick, by hands that once knew how to fight, now choose to hold instead. There was a time when we measured strength by how long we could hold a grudge. But today, let us measure strength by how long we could hold space for someone else's truth. Because there was a me and a you before there was ever an us. And if us is broken, then peace is what lets us lay down the shards without aiming at each other's throats. Peace is the poem you write after the war in your chest has finally run out of ink. It is the moment you return to your body and find yourself still standing. Peace is not easy. And so let us not forget the ones who have carried peace quietly through the fire. The women whose hands mend what war has torn, who rebuild homes from memory, raise children between checkpoints, hold their families like nations. Because peace has always known the name of a woman, carried through the way that she chooses courage over collapse again and again. And so today I speak peace into the bones of this world, into the rubble, into the rage, into the ruins. Because if war teaches us how to shatter, then peace must teach us how to stay soft, to stay human. And perhaps what makes us human is not that we always succeed in peace, but that we dare again and again to seek it, refusing to let our brokenness be the end of our story. Thank you.
I will not be silent. We should all know, but that was so powerful, Ayo, really, 30 seconds.
The first UN Global Peace, advocate for peace and security, Nigerian, and we're very proud of her. And that was such a powerful spoken word piece. And I hope that the world leaders gathered at the United Nations, Better Together, 80th anniversary, listened to the words that she said.
Fantastic.
We cannot be silent. We must speak up against injustice, all forms of injustice.
Well
done.
Ayo. Kudos.